Hey everyone, today I want to show you how I've been generating Divine Orbs by flipping items on the trade. We're going to find some reasonably priced items on the trade, some bases. We're then going to slam them in the Recombinator, and then we're going to sell the result for big profit. So this concept can be taken across different item types. However, for this video, I'm going to show you rare belts, as this has been pretty lucrative. So let me just first show you this. We're going to try to create some triple resistance belts with tier 1 stat rolls on it. Let me just show you how much these actually sell for. So these items can sell for 8 divine each at a minimum. You could potentially get even more, as the item that we're going to end up creating here is actually a pretty valuable item, because people can then actually craft on top of the item that we're going to create. So like I mentioned, this process can be used for different item types. However, you just want to be aware of one main thing here. The end result, the final result, needs to be able to sell for profit. Otherwise, there's absolutely no point in doing this. Now, different item categories can also have different odds of doing this, right? So some will be more difficult, some will actually be easier to get this done with. So if I pull up my inventory here, you can see I've already acquired a whole lot of bases from the trade. So what we're looking for is one base that has 2 of the resistances and a matching base that has the third resistance that we're missing. We're then going to slam these into the Recombinator. So as I said, I've got a bunch here that have the dual resistances, and then the other one has the single resistance on it. Let's just talk about the Recombinator a little bit first. We're going to need a couple of things to sort of get this working. So let me just show you. If we go like this, we want the higher tier 1 from there and these 3. So the chances here obviously are reasonably low. We also are going to need the Black Scythe artifacts for every single one of these that we do. There's also another item type here called Omen of Recombination that can help us out doing this. So I want to just go over these before we actually do the slam. So these Black Scythe artifacts can vary in price. They were actually 4 to 1 about 20 minutes ago. So these go up and down. So depending on the time of day, this could be a little bit different for you. But generally speaking, between sort of 2 to 1 and 4 to 1 ratio is what they're currently at. So you are going to need 26 of these per attempt. The other item that is really useful for what we're doing here is the Omen of Recombination. So what this does is, when this is active, your next recombination attempt is lucky. So what that means is it will roll twice instead of once, and if either of them succeed, then we get the roll, right? So the one thing that's important to note about the Omen of Recombination here is it's reasonably expensive. So if the 2 bases that you're purchasing off the trade are cheaper than one of these, including the artifact price, then it's probably not worth using these, especially if the bases are common and easy to acquire. If the bases are a little bit more expensive, or they're a little bit more difficult to find on the trade, then absolutely use one of these every time you do the slam. So let's just talk about the odds here again. So as you can see, 4.36, not the greatest. We do get 2 rolls per attempt when we have the Omen of Recombination active. So what does this mean? This means we're going to need to roll this about 22 times on average, which means it's possible to go on a very bad streak and lose a lot of currency. It's also very possible to get 2 in a row and be filthy rich. So before we actually do the slam, let me show you the bases that we're looking for. So I'm looking for tier 1 stats here, right? So these prices can vary quite a bit. Some people list these for between 1 and 20 exalts. If you find them under 20 exalts, it's usually worth purchasing. However, as you can see, some of them are a little bit more expensive as well. Now, the ones that have the 45 on them, these are usually more expensive because that is a max roll, right? That is the max tier 1 roll. So when you're searching for these, half your bases need to have a combo of 2 of the resistances, right? So you can search for Fire Cold, or you can search for Fire Lightning, for example. And then again, we can see there are some here for 15, some for 20, and then these ones are a little bit more expensive now. One of the reasons these are expensive is I've been purchasing a lot of the bases off the trade. So if you give it a day or so, usually they start filling up again and you don't have to spend quite as much. As you can see, the cold, we have some for 10, some for 20 here. So on average, the ones I've purchased here for the video are about 20 each for the dual bases, and the single ones range from sort of 1 to 10. A lot of these I picked up for under 5 though. So on average, we're spending roughly 30 or so exalts per attempt here. Now, we're also using the Omen of Recom, so each of these attempts will be roughly 60 to 70x each. So these are a little bit more expensive than doing these with bases that cost only 1x, right? I would say this is a little bit more of a mid-tier sort of slam that we're doing. It's also worth pointing out here, if you're purchasing bases that are only 1x each, then you can do a lot of attempts at this, right? Assuming that you have the gold. So the one thing that can be a limiting factor on doing this is you blow through your gold pretty quickly. Now, I've been doing this a lot, so I've blown through quite a bit of gold here. So, okay, so we've got our Black Scythe artifacts. We got our Omen of Recombination ready to go. So let's slam these in the video, and I'll show you exactly how lucky or unlucky we can get doing this. So, okay. Oh, we got one first go. All right, guys, I don't want to give you unrealistic expectations. That is very, very lucky, but that is at least 8 divines already. So let's keep going. Okay. Okay, we've got the cold, fire, and the lightning. Let's go. Let's go, go, go. Nope, that one failed. Okay, because we've already succeeded one here, we're already going to be in profit. So at this point, we can just slam these and really hope we get lucky. So yeah, 4.36 chance. It is a pretty low chance overall. That is one of the reasons that we want to use this Omen of Recombination while we're doing this. So go, 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 go. Nope. Okay. Cold, fire, and lightning. As you can see, that one was 28 artifacts, so they do get slightly more expensive. Okay, cold, fire, and lightning. Let's go. Nope. Okay, we got the cold, we got the fire, and we got the lightning. Nope. Okay, cold, lightning, and fire again. Go, go, go. Now, you can also do this with chaos resistance. Okay, I actually just ran out of artifacts. What I was saying there before is you can also do these with chaos resistance, right? The chaos resistance ones tend to sell for quite a variety of different prices on the trade, which is kind of interesting. I'm not exactly sure what's up. A lot of people are pricing them a bit cheaper, which is kind of weird. But I still sold mine for 8 on there. So just took a couple of days instead of, you know, being sold overnight or whatever, or straight away. Okay. Last attempt of our 10. Oh, we got another one. Let's go. All right. So that's about 16 minimum, 16 divines. We could probably get 20 for these. Now, let me just talk about these items for a quick second. One of the reasons that these items are really valuable and we can actually make a lot of profit off of them is not only are they just great stat rolls, we have only 3 affixes on here, which means someone can purchase this, they can desecrate it, they can craft whatever else they want onto it. So it's actually a very, very valuable type of item. So we could probably actually jack the prices on these up to 10 divine each. As I mentioned earlier, the previous ones have sold for 8 each pretty easily within 24 hours. So I'm going to go in here and list these for 10 this time because they sold very easily for 8 last time. I might have actually undervalued them a little bit. So we could potentially even get more than 10, but you know what? I'm not greedy. Let's put these on here for 10 div each, and we'll see if anyone wants to purchase them. Okay, so I left them up there for 24 hours at 10, and they're not actually selling through. At the moment, there are a few more of these on the trade, so I did lower the price down to 7, and we got one of them to sell here. Now, at the moment, there are actually quite a few of these on the market. If we have a look, there are a few of them sitting at 5 here. So even if I lowered this one down from 7 to 6, it might sell a bit faster. Or if we're patient, we can just leave it there for 7 and it should still sell through. Just quickly wanted to show you my sales record here just to prove what I'm talking about here. So the belts, as you can see, will be 8 divine, 8 divine, 8 divine. And there's a few more in there as well. So I might actually keep the second one for my ranger here as I've been leveling up a second character. As you can see, the belt I have in on the moment is pretty low, so it'd actually be a pretty big boost for my second character here. So I might sell it, but we might just leave it up there on the trade at 7 div at the moment as well. There you go, guys. So the method definitely works. Most of these have been selling for that 7 to 8 divine sort of range. Now, there are a few more on the market at the moment, so you might have to put the price down a little bit for these belts specifically. Now, this sort of method can be used on different item types. You just have to do a bit of research first to see what the end result will actually sell for. And you just have to be aware of those recombinator odds. You can go on longer streaks that are unlucky. That's just the part of the RNG of doing this sort of method. So just be aware of those odds. You saw what the odds were. Was it 4.36 for this particular one. If you want to go more than 3 mods, some of the odds can get even lower than that. So just be aware of what you're doing beforehand, before you actually go dumping a ton of exalts into it. With that being said, guys, hope you all enjoyed that one. If you did, consider hitting like and subscribe. I'll catch you on the next one. Hope you all have a fantastic, amazing day. Take it easy.